21st of July now, so I thought I'd do a garden tour and also talk about this visitor that's arrived. We'll get onto that. That'll be at the end of the video, but I'll have a look around the garden first. Kane's out because it's sunny again. So this is the garlic I brought on from the plot. It's all been cleaned and taken back to one skin. So I'll just bring this close up so I don't know whether you can see that, but it's all, it's all nice and clean. Roots are drying, tops are going pale now. So it's just a time thing now that they have to dry. So it's just a case of sacrificing the bench, because I can't use the big shelf up there because it's got ceilings on at the moment, which the onions will be going up there. I just have this sheet of polycarbonate. I just lay over it, put a couple of planks of wood on it, stop it from blowing away. You never do know in this country. One minute you get glorious sunshine, then you've got gales and rain and all sorts. So it's worked for the last few years, so I just, if it works, keep doing it. So the Hilda's mixed sweet peas sort of coming to an end now because it's absolutely full of pods. So if you take all the pods off, it'll encourage it to bloom a bit more, but I'd be here for hours. But I'll resow them again next year, as I'll just keep doing it, in memory of my mum. So courgettes are a bit pasty looking, but they're still producing courgettes. So I'll look around the rest of the garden and see how everything else is doing. As we're down here, we'll start this end at garden. We've just simply got some mizure that seems to be just still cropping like wildfire. I've had a really good crop of lettuce this year, and then you've got some 2 rows of dwarf French beans in between. They're starting to get loads of little buds on now, and some got little pods on. Then right behind them are the Cobra French climbing beans. So it's a small bed. It's only actually about just over 2 foot by, I think it's 9 foot, that bed. So just to show you can have a little tiny bed and get a hell of a lot out of it if you want. And then over to the other side, I've got the 6 pots of the Sarpo mirror. And then I've got the spring onions. Now I had to tie these back the other day because they kind of toppled with all the winds and real downpours of rain. It was just a last minute thought to shove them there, because I used to have lilies in these beds and they're out in a box in the front now. And they've near enough come to an end now, the lilies have dropped the flowers off, so it's just kind of smothered in petunias now. But the spring onions lost obviously a lot of light, but they're the Ishikura, but still get a spring onion off them, it's fine. Strawberries, they've kind of come to an end. These are the same as I've got at the allotment, these. So, like I say, I've had a good picking of strawberries, to be honest, off what plants I've got. Carrots in these tubs, got some like sweet candles, sugar snacks, and I think these are like some little early ones. Try and pull one out, shouldn't be doing it really, but they're only little tiny things, but they'll be sweet as nut, they will. I'll have to shove that in my pocket out of the way. And then we'll go and have a look up here, which we have some more strawberries that are sending runners out. That runner pot's in here somewhere. I snapped it off from its mother plant. There it is. Full of roots as well now. So that's all you do when you do your own runners. That's a brand new plant. Just some more spuds in there. I think it's some jazzies I've put in there. That's an old raspberry cane from the allotment that kind of survived, but it's not doing too great. Here's greenshaft peas. I've had a good picking off them. Obviously there's a good collection of weeds down there, so I need to sort them out at some point, but it's not really an issue at the moment. I'll just wait till my peas are finished then put some weed killer down there. Plenty of peas. Pods are getting ready for another pick. Probably another couple of weeks and they'll be finished. I'm going to polytunnel, which most things are I've nipped the growing tip out of a lot of them now because they're right up. So they're over 6 foot now, so there's plenty on. I'll look at one of the, this is I think it's a money maker, this over here. Absolutely hanging with tomatoes. And then these are the piccolo, which were bought, just shop bought tomatoes, and I took some seeds out of a tomato, just let it go over ripe. You know, the cascades of little cherry tomatoes. Not the best tasting, to be honest. I don't know if they're a heritage or if they were an F1, you know, in the shop tomato. So you don't necessarily get what you think when you're doing a sort of a seed from an F1. Everything else is doing alright. The plum tomatoes, which are down the bottom, and they're obviously the shortest ones, but the usual, the cherries are usually always first to go. You know, like the sun golds. You know, it's lucky to come in and actually get some, because usually Mrs. has come out and nabbed them. But she must be not on the ball at the minute, so I'll take that one. I know someone who will have it, which is this little fella down here. He's out and about, and he likes tomatoes. Just pop it down from down there, see if he'll have it. Just, he loves tomatoes. Doesn't have them that often because they're not great for him, you know, having too many. But that's that one gone. Quite happily sit there and eat a pile of them, I bet. I'll look further down the garden. So in there is just some seedlings. I've got some kale, some January King and some other cabbage, which is going to go in the onion bed, and the rest of the bed where I put the swede. So it's just one of my actual net covers off my beds down the garden that's thrown over that sort of makeshift polytunnel thing. Got some more peas, really patchy, to be honest. A few weeds in it, some of my own compost. I've used a few weed seeds in it, but not bothered about that. So I'll probably end up, I mean, they're not really dense, but I'll put them in where that big row of peas are at the allotment when I finish taking them. It's just I might get a later crop, and with it being a bit, you know, less dense and that, it all helps with airflow, so mildew shouldn't be too much of an issue, hopefully. You tend to get it eventually, but some radish, I need to water. I'm actually trying to run that for seed, but I keep forgetting to water them. All the carrots were out. They're a bit of a fail. They have multi-legs, holes in them and all sorts. So I thought, well, I'll get them out, get what I can off them. And I've put some spring onions in. They are the blood Holland red. I've got some Mizuna, and then at the top end there I had some dwarf French beans, which were drying out and going a bit wilty and stuff, so I'll just shove them down the bottom. They should perk up. Celery, that's the Tango, the self-blanch, seems to be doing okay. And then we have some more Monsieur at the back of that, and some Rocket. That's the first sowing of Rocket. I just keep taking the flower spikes off, you know, once a week, and then picking them until my other ones are ready, because I've got some more that are ready to go out. So I just need to like pull them out and take what I can off them, and then get the other ones in. Some turnips over the back end. They're doing okay. That carrot box, a sweet candle, some of the tops seem to be dying off. I don't know why. There'll be decent carrots on them now, so I might pull some soon. I don't know, just to see. These have chunked on. I can't remember the name of this lettuce now. Bit like a romaine. These onions are not looking the best. I've lost a few, but some of them are about, you know, a good 6 inches. So, you know, 3-4 pounders, some of them probably. So, but yeah, they won't store. As soon as I cut into them, there'll be bits of mouldy bits and manky bits probably, but I'll probably lift them soon. Give them another 4 or 5 weeks maybe max, and so I can get something else in, maybe a late season spring greens for Kain through winter. And then we have the King Eddie potatoes, which have gone past the fence, and they've toppled slightly as well with all the high winds and rain we had. They've just toppled. I did spray them probably just over a week ago for blight, but they're just so dense that it's inevitable they're going to get it, because it's just not enough airflow, you know, to stop any sort of fungal things happening. So it's just a waiting game now. Start feeding and upping the watering to try and see whatever's on them to get them to swell. I'd be quite happy if you go another 4 or 5 weeks. I'd be quite happy. I think it was end of March or 1st of April I did them, so I'd be quite happy if if you can kind of get like 16, 18 weeks, you'll get something. But we'll just have to see on that. Bought a lot of beans. I've done nothing but struggle because obviously they can't get much light down there. But there is pods on them. The high winds just whipped them around everywhere. But there's some pods on them. I'm growing these actually for the bean. It's a big sort of 7-inch pod there. The big carrots, the red intermediate, the long ones, seem to be looking okay. Which always a kind of fun thing is you don't know actually what's growing beneath. It could be a 6-inch multi-leg stump or a nice smooth long one. So we'll just see when that happens. That'll be 1st of September they'll get pulled. So they're a bit off yet. Pot of Jazzies, I can't actually remember when I sold them, but they're probably not far off ready now. There were just some I had left over, and I had a pot of spent compost, so I just put some bloodfish and bone meal and shoved them in. Look in the cucumber house, which is a bit crammed. The cucumbers are struggling because there's just not much light getting to the back, so I need to take some of these peppers out. Obviously the heat, they always wilt in here when it gets so hot. But there is cucumbers on them. I might actually try and see if I can get in and get one. They're not massive. I'll pull one, it's only small at the moment. Just pulled it and dropped it somewhere. I'm going to try and find it so you can have a... There it is. So they're not massive. But nevertheless, still a cucumber. That's a fem spot. They'll get twice that size, but you end up, if you leave them too long, you end up with so many you can't keep up with it. So all the peppers, I've had a couple off. I don't know why you can see that one. They're actually black, them peppers. I had a couple off them, but things have been eating them. Like I say, I haven't got the space to grow them all. I have to sacrifice either the cucumbers or the peppers at some point, But maybe one year I'll big a greenhouse and deal with it. But I mean, I've got like 11 pepper plants in there. But I've just watered these Apaches because they're getting a bit dry. But they're doing all right. There's little peppers on them. Absolutely tons of flowers. I've not fed them for a couple of weeks. But well, you can see there's one there. So down here we have these, I think it's Snow Baby sweet corns, about 2 foot high now. Not leaning too badly, but it's coming along okay. Just down here I have a resowing of little gem lettuce, another 15. And then a load more of the, I think there's another 15 or 20 something of the Durham Early spring greens. That's another replant. These are obviously the last ones to go in, because obviously I was still using them. So I pulled that last row out probably about 2 weeks ago and put them in. They were hungry because they'd gone really pale. But they perked up and they're growing all right. So look at Brussels sprouts. I went in last night, and first time I've been in actually since I covered it with net, and cleared all the bottom foliage, taking probably 5-6 of the stalks off at the bottom because they were going a bit yellow, and I just didn't want the slugs and aphids getting on them and stuff like that. So I thought, well, there is little button sprouts on them. How well you'll see them, I don't know. You can't really tell. But I don't want to pull the net off because I've just seen a cabbage white knocking around. But yeah, there's some on there that are probably, marble size. So it's started. And down here we have the tallest lettuce in the world. It's the red salad bowl. It's going to seed now. But I can take these lower leaves off, get rid of the plants, because down in between them, well, you can see down there, I've planted some more out. So these will come out and they'll take over. The tender green runner beans, they've hit the top of the canes now, up there, the 7 foot. Plenty of these on. So it's the first I've done these. They're supposed to be a bit like a French climbing bean, cross with a runner bean, so we'll see how they are. And if they're good, I'll grow them again. If they're not, I won't. Leeks, they're growing fine. In between, I've just got some radish, got some like mixed coloured ones there. You can see like a yellowy colour and some red and some purples. I quite like these purple ones here because they've got a small top on them for the size of the radish. There's plenty of them like that. But they're supposed to be all purple, but it looks like the odd red one in there. But they're ready for eating now. And then I've sown a row of just think there's plain red ones over there. We have been eating a lot of radish this year. It's just a good gap filler. So I think that's about everything of what's going on in the garden. Not much else really. Everything's just like growing, harvesting, and pricking stuff out still. I've got some lettuce I've pricked out which will need to come up. Like I say, as space becomes available, I'll put it out. But other than that, I have to keep potting it on. Because if it gets too big for its pot, it'll dry out. I've got to, and shock it even more. It keeps checking the plant. So, I guess we'll discuss this visitor. Kain having a bath at the minute. He's enjoying the sunshine. Bless him. He does love it out here when the sun's out. He's coming over because he thinks I've got something for him, food. He just eats all the time, like a tank. Right, regarding this visitor, so it's 3 weeks now since he came. So basically, just quickly run through it, is I went out the front of the house to the back of the van, heard this noise, and as I came back in, heard it again. I looked down, and on this plant pot on the doorstep was a young jackdaw. A bit scraggly, because it was high winds, and it was absolutely pounding it down with rain, so the poor thing looked a bit worse for wear. Had a few patches on it, like someone had a go at it. So it didn't seem to be scared of me, so I thought I need to just bring it in. You look online and stuff, and they just say, "Oh, just let it go." And I thought, well, there's lots of cats around here, so I just chirping at the moment. So he wouldn't stand a chance. So the thing is, when they spend a lot of time around humans, they can tend to imprint a bit. Because when I was 14, I had a rook, which is the same member of the family, the Covid family. Rooks, jackdaw, magpie, crows, ravens, they're all the same sort of family. And they sort of pair for life. When I had my rook, I had him for quite a few years, before he decided to just live the free life, I guess. Because they're never captive, they do have freedom to fly around in the day and stuff like that. So I thought I can do with this little guy or girl, I don't know if it's male or female, but I've just named it Jack for now. And just give it somewhere where it can have a safe place, in there. So I've sort of modified the top of that little shed. It's not as much a cage, but it's secure from cats, because like I said, there's a lot of cats. The cat did try and climb up there, so I've got some cat deterrents down here which send off like a high frequency. It does work, so I've seen the cat come down the path, and when it gets within range, it does a runner, so they do work. So I'll get him out in a minute and we'll have a look at him. He might decide to fly off and have a fly around, I don't know. I'd say he's here of his own free will, but yeah, it's good fun, because they are a little character, but they're very, very intelligent. They're quite destructive and very, very inquisitive, which can get them in a lot of trouble. So, he has like a perch in there, a couple of toys, cardboard tube he likes to rip up and stuff like that, and his food, obviously. But it's just he kind of thinks in there when he goes to bed at night. I'll put him in there in the afternoon for a couple of hours for a kip. He doesn't like it because he wants to sort of stay out with me, sort of sat in the kitchen, and he'll fly in and out. But obviously I've got things I need to get on with, and I can't keep an eye on him. So I spend about 6-7 hours a day with him, which is quite long, but they are like a child, until they've sort of gone through that sort of full-fledging stage, but he can fly to a degree. His feathers are coming on a lot better now, so I've got some footage which I'll probably put on sort of now. So as I say, that was a bit of footage from, I think it was for about 6 or 7 days he'd been here, so he has grown on a bit since then. So he's doing a lot better, but it's just because his plumage isn't that great. He's got some bald patches underneath still, which are covering slowly. I don't think he'd survive the winter. So it's just getting him used to going on that top perch, because that hatch I've made so I can open it, and get him used to the fact that if he flies in, he can just pop in there, have something to eat, he's safe in there, and then he can come out whenever he likes. But at the moment, he sees it like a kid when you say, go to bed, and they don't want to. So he's a bit like a reluctant child at the minute. So, but he's still funny. He has his moments where he's dead soft and he'll sit on your shoulder or your arm or fall asleep, and then there's other times he's a nightmare where he just keeps jumping on my head, and after a while the claws do, scratch your head a bit. So anyway, we'll get him out. He might just fly off, I don't know, but we'll just see. So this is Jack. Come on, Jack. Come on, lad. Good boy. Good boy. Having a stretch. So just eating mealworms at the moment, but he has, cat food, sweet corn, peas, bread, crackers. He likes crackers. The last few days he's been eating crackers, smashing them up, making a mess everywhere. Little bits of cheese, sultanas, blueberries. He'll have a packet of them. So I'll bring him a little bit closer, but he might flutter off because he's inquisitive, like I say, and he likes the sun on his back. Sometimes he'll get the sun and he'll spread his wings right out, and he goes into a bit of a trance. But he's a bit dubious around seagulls, so I'm not sure if that's something that's had a go at him, but he likes it on there. But like I say, he likes it on top of my head as well. So I'll just try and keep him interested with a bit of a mealworm so you can have a bit of a closer look at him. Like I say, he's not massive, but he's got a lot more feathers now, and he can fly pretty well. Like I say, he's reluctant to go in his little cage thing, so I just have to watch my eye because they are sort of drawn to shiny things, so you've got to try and avoid glancing at them. You've got to sort of make sure you just protect yourself. You don't do it, on purpose, and sometimes you probably do. And you're likely to get a bit of bird muck down your back, but it's nothing I've not had before. But he still does that chick thing, and you bring it down, he'll flutter his wings and stuff like that. That's what he's like. He's really cute. He does that still. But you can see on the edge of the beak, he's still got this pinkish area, which is he's still young, but he's getting a bit stronger. But he's inquisitive, and he'll follow me around, won't you? Eh? But he is quite cute in his own way. Like I say, he's free to fly away if he wants. He'll have a wander around the fence and fly in the garden. He's flown around the front of the house a couple of times and come back, and then the odd time he sort of gets a bit lost. But he can have a fly up if he wants. Are you going for a fly, Jack? No? Butterflies, he likes chasing anything that flies. He's got quite good at catching flies, actually. Get off my head. That's what I mean. It's quite sore when he does that. But likes to have a nibble at your fingers and whatnot, because he just thinks you've got food all the time. But he will, he'll quite happily let you feed him, but he will pick up himself. Certain things, only meat he won't. But you can hold it out like that and he'll quite happily pick them up and ping them about everywhere. But so they're the dry mealworms he likes then. So this is what I've been busy doing the last couple of weeks, the last 3 weeks. As he's nipping my finger, thinking he wants some more food. But yeah, he's He's been time consuming, but like I say, I've got to give the little guy as good a chance. And there's always going to be a place here that's safe for him. Well, safe as I can make it, and there'll always be food here for him. So if he just wants that bit of safety, the rest of his time he can fly free and be a jackdaw. You know, but like I say, he's all right with me. He's all right with my dad and my missus, like, but he's not not as trusting. You know, to get him to trust that they spend a bit of time. Like I say, the imprint with their sort of caretaker, and in the wild they do sort of pair for life. But he's getting a strong nip on him now, and he can peck, which you need to, because he needs to be able to get himself out of trouble if he needs, you know, and fight back. Because obviously he'll fly towards a bird, and he's a bit of a scaredy cat sometimes. But you know, they do get predated on in the wild by, you know, hawks, falcons, and stuff like that. So he just has to just be careful, you know. But I cannot stop the, you know, the inevitable. If he flies off, he's on his own from then. You know, he has to look after himself. So that's all it is really. It's just he's the visitor. He's taking a bit of time. We'll get a bit less time, you know, when he's out flying, getting up to his own mischief. And then when I get back home from work, when I go back to work, he can just come in the house if he wants. And he's fine. He come in the house now. He just sits in the kitchen. A little couple of perches up here and there. But they're inquisitive, and they just have to map the area a bit, so they kind of know where their home is. Say he's gone off, a little fly, jumping about the gate, pecking stones off the wall like he does. But yeah, he's no trouble at all. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. See you now. Bye. Jack. Good boy. Good lad. Run up on the perch again. Jack. Perch. Good boy. Jack. Come. Jack. Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. Good lad. Eh? Jack. Good boy.